And we're back with Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here. Thanks so much for watching and listening. It's almost the end of the year. The end of 2022 is here. And I could not end a year of pop culture without a good friend coming by to talk about the best in television. She's been here all year long. Why not bring her in here to share her best of 2022? Plus, we're talking Wednesday on Netflix. We're talking The White Lotus on HBO. Some cancellations, a lot of cancellations on HBO and more. It is a good friend indeed. You got to go ahead and check out what she's doing today at the Mother Daughter Ish podcast. It is Dawn Fobbs. Dawn, wishing
Hello.
you and your daughter the happiest of holidays and welcome once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm excited.
Exactly, indeed. I know you've been traveling a lot of places, spreading the good word of the Mother Daughter Ish podcast, doing what you
Right?
can. Know you've been very busy. Truly appreciate you taking the time to speak to me. First thing I wanted to ask before we get into on the back end, your best of for 2022. I wanted to talk about the White Lotus, which just ended its latest season.
Just ended. Are we
And
doing are we doing spoiler alerts?
well, it's been a couple weeks now, so if you
Okay.
want to talk spoiler alerts, anything of that nature. I know 1923 on the Paramount Plus and Paramount stations just went crazy as a predecessor to Yellowstone, earning over 7 million viewers. The White
Right.
Lotus also captured the attention of so many people out there with its ending of its climactic season. It's obviously got a bright future ahead for a network that's really in a state of flux because they've canceled a lot of shows
Right.
recently, even shows that they had already renewed for a second season or a third season. They've actually canceled those, upset a lot of people. But the one thing that they haven't upset people on is the way that they've ended this season of The White Lotus.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when I first saw White Lotus, I was like, oh yeah, I like this show and I like the characters that were in it. Now, when I heard them say that they were going to do different characters each time, I was like, I don't know. But I kind of like the way they ended this one and let us know, okay, even when it comes back, there's going to even be different people. I was a little shocked with the way the ending happened, just simply because it was just so I was looking at it going, oh, they're playing checkers, not I mean, they're playing chess, not checkers. It was so
Mhm.
well crafted that I was like, oh, okay. It shocked me. Did the ending shock you? Because I wasn't expecting that to happen with Jennifer Coolidge. I wasn't prepared.
But no, I wasn't expecting. It was actually kind of a nice. Well, I wasn't okay. A nice surprise per se. It was great that they surprised the audience in
Yes.
that way.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Jennifer Coolidge, you see her all now as far as the all in the old Navy commercials. She's now really getting a
Resurface. Yeah.
yeah, she's getting a revival. She's always been there as a character actress, especially
Right.
since as Miss Stifler's mom, as Stifler's
Right.
mom in the American Pie movies. She's gained a notable stature, but she's had a regular career since. But this
Yeah.
appearances in the White Lotus and how she stand out, the whole
Yeah.
cast, it's been something that has resonated with an audience the way that Westworld was supposed to resonate in a post Game of Thrones world, you
Oh,
know,
I
it,
know.
and it took actually a predecessor of Game of Thrones to actually recreate that audience, and it's also taken the White Lotus to bring that audience even more.
Yeah, when you said Westworld, that just kind of broke my heart because when I tell you on that first season, I was so in, I was like, this is my type of jam right here. By the second season, I was like, okay, guys, don't jump the shark, don't do it. By the third season, I was like, what just happened? I mean, it's like I feel like I lost my show by then.
Mhm.
And now I have no encouragement to even go back and figure out what happened. I'm just kind of like, okay, never
Well, neither
mind.
did
But that
HBO because they
show
canceled the show.
exactly, but I'm just telling you, if they would have just stuck with the momentum of one and build from that, somebody got the wrong message over there and they messed up our show because it was really, really a great show. I mean, I almost didn't even watch it, but then I was like, what do they mean Westworld? Because I never saw the old school one. I never knew there was a Westworld from back in the day. I didn't
Yeah,
even know
with Yul
anything about
Brenner
the
as an
show.
old movie, yes.
Yeah, I never even knew about that. But then I said, I'm going to give this new one a chance just so I could figure out what this is all about. And by the second season, I was so disappointed. And I loved all the characters that were in it as well. So I guess HBO figured out they had to do what they had to do, because not only is it about ratings, but it's also about the chatter that you hear online when you go to those different sites and you look at what people are saying. And they all kind of, because I went and read some of the comments, because the comments are where just it's lively over there.
Mhm.
And just people saying, like, after season 2, you messed it up. Like, somebody got it wrong, you know?
Somebody
So
did get. Oh, no worries. Somebody did get it
somebody
wrong.
got it wrong.
Yeah, somebody's trying to get a hold of you. Maybe your thoughts on Westworld there, but I
Yeah,
just kidding. But the
yeah.
White Lotus has captured the attention. It is
It
HBO's
has.
hottest show. I know they've had some hits and misses so far this season,
Yes.
and
Yes.
one of them is the White Lotus. Your thoughts on where the White Lotus can continue? Of course, they're bringing in seemingly a new crew because this seems
Every time. Yeah.
yeah, a different season, a different cast of characters. I kind of like that. It's a fresh concept because of the fact it won't leave you with these storylines that have to be
Right.
lengthened out over seasons and just try
Right.
to go ahead and try to do what they can to draw them out. Your thoughts
Right.
on the White Lotus before we head over to Netflix?
Well, at this point, I kind of like the idea of them bringing in new characters, because I feel like it gives it a fresh view. I feel like if they don't continue with the mystery, like, again, I was a little bit shocked with the ending, but happy that they gave me something to go like, I can't wait till the next, third season.
Yeah,
So I think if they continue to bring in those new, and they got to bring us characters we like, though, because, like, if we don't get characters we like, we're going to be out.
yeah.
Um, I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to craft this third season, how they're going to capture our attention even more. And this time with season 2, I'll tell you, the first 2 episodes, I was kind of like, come on with it, come on with it. But it was a kind of like giving us a little bit of character of what was going to happen in the end. But I didn't know that until the end. I think with season 3, they're going to have to go in on season 3 with the excitement all the way through, because if it starts off boring again, I just don't know, because the first 2 episodes I was dragging to finish it. But by the time it got to the end, I was like, oh, can't wait till the third season. So I'm hoping with the third season, they come in with a good bang with some great new characters. And I'm excited to see where it's going to go. I would also like for them to maybe sprinkle in a couple of characters from the first season in some kind of way, not in a major way, but just like how, how they make it like full circle, where they get away from some of the main people, but then bring them back and sprinkle them in. I kind of like that too, because it makes me remember how I jumped into that anyway, because I never would have known about White Lotus, except I was curious, like, okay, what's Jennifer Coolidge playing in now? And then it just caught my attention. So I hope that they come in with a bang on season 3 and just give us everything.
Well, I tell you what, again, this is one show that they aren't going to mess with because it
No.
is getting the numbers for them right now. Unfortunately, for a lot of other HBO shows, like I mentioned before with Westworld, Minx, which had already been renewed,
Mm-hmm.
Love Life, several others that have been canceled in recent weeks as HBO Max Discovery, they're all still trying to sort things out for their one big happy family they're going to have next year when the merger finally completes itself on screen.
Right.
But they're getting rid of a lot of shows, some of which, again, that they had already previously already renewed. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of troubling to see where it's at. But then again, with shows like what we see with the White Lotus, at least with some of them, they are getting it right.
Right. They are getting it right.
And
I
the
know
House
you
of
and
the Dragon before it.
I
So,
was just about to say, I was glad that you brought up Game of Thrones earlier, because that House of Dragon really went off with a bang. People loved
yes.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely, indeed.
I
But
know another show that you like that's going to be ending is Atlanta. They're going to be ending. So I know that was a very, very, very
yeah, one of
popular
the
one.
most critically acclaimed shows in its run. That'll be ending. That's more, I think, of a Donald Glover thing than I think,
Yes, I think
because
so too.
he's one of the most extremely talented individuals in entertainment. He wants to
Mhm.
do, obviously, sounding like he wants to do different things. He's had a
I'm
great
sure.
show. It's had a great run. All the stars there on that show have gone on to bigger and better things, anyways. So it's
Yeah.
almost like at this point, Atlanta is like, okay, do we really have enough time to go ahead and create great content for Atlanta? It seems
Right.
like after 4 seasons, they don't. So I'm just,
4 seasons was
yeah,
good, I guess.
exactly. And Snowfall just announced its sixth and final season on FX.
Right.
Some
Right, right,
things going on there as far as that great run. I didn't know if it was 6. I thought it felt to me like it was 4. I just
wow,
thought, well, it just seems like time has gone so by. I remember, actually catching that show in its first couple seasons and how captivating it was. And all of a sudden, time goes by so fast. It's gone into
right,
6 seasons. So we'll
right,
see what
right.
happens with that going
But
forward.
I
But
like when they go out on a high, though, don't you?
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I could just see like the cocaine flying all over the place in the middle of a gunfire as the credits roll on that one. Kind
There's
of like a
no
Miami
telling.
Vice thing. Something
Oh,
that's like the ending of a Miami Vice, type deal. That would be kind of
yeah.
funny to see. But I will say though, not that I'm condoning any cocaine usage out there.
No, but
Please,
that's just the way
everyone.
the show goes.
Exactly. It's called
Yeah.
Snowfall for a reason. But
For a reason, and it's not because it snows there all the time. Because I
no,
think I was a
no.
little dumb in the beginning thinking that.
Yeah.
But they also decided on not doing the Batman and
It's
Batwoman. So are we
Batgirl.
losing?
It,
Do you
it,
think we're losing that whole franchise of the Batgirl, Batwoman?
well, the DC scope is changing place now that James Gunn and Peter Safran have taken over. They've talked
Hmm.
about how, well, first of all, before they even got there, the decision was already made financially to not go forward with the Batgirl movie, even though it's actually already completed
Right.
and just was waiting to be released. And that was clearly a cost cutting issue. But with
Hmm.
Peter Safran and James Gunn now leading the DCU in the past
Hmm.
few weeks, they've made some changes. Henry Cavill is no longer Superman. There's rumors Gal Gadot may not return. Jason Momoa, this is going to be his
Just heard
last time
that on
around as
Thursday.
Yep,
Yeah.
Jason Momoa. This is going to be last time around as Aquaman. He's already been told. May come back as a Lobo character. We'll see. But Black Adam, when it comes to Dwayne Johnson, he's already
Mm,
just announced today that he will not be a part of the first chapter of the DCU, and that he may or may not come back. So
really?
yes, he just said that he was told that he's not going to be part of the first part of this new rebooted DCU when it starts up, but he said he may be coming back, but we'll see. I don't know. The paltry
Oh,
or the underwhelming returns of Black Adam may prove otherwise because it only made $400 million at the box office, which is not a
right.
great number for a $200 million film. But
No, no.
again, when it comes to HBO, DC, we're going to see a lot of changes there continuously as the merger finally completes itself and next year becomes HBO Discovery. But one
Mm.
network that is not having as that many as issues is of course Netflix, and Netflix is still 220 million subscribers strong. They're still doing what they can to produce content. The content
Yep.
is not overflowing with greatness or all over the places as it once
I'm
did, but
I'm
I
loving
will
it.
say
I'm loving
there's
it.
still a good amount of stuff that's coming out. I think all these
Yep.
streamers are pulling back on the amount of content that they're putting out there. I think it's something that
Right.
the I don't want to say the streaming bubble has ended, but at least it's not heading in the right direction. I will say
Yeah.
though, for Netflix, you are still getting some good stuff from time to time. And while everybody was expecting The Crown to be a hit, which it was, and Henry and Meghan to be a hit, which Harry and Meghan was,
Hey,
nobody I
did you
think
did you did you
expected.
watch the Harry and Meghan?
No, no, because it really doesn't interest me as much as, I think a lot of others that are captivated by what goes on with the royalty and all that.
I wasn't captivated, but I was quite curious because I wanted to know what were they going to say that they hadn't already kind of sprinkled out into the public or that they said on Oprah. And
Hmm.
honestly, I watched all, I think it was 4 or 5 or 6, whatever. I watched them all on
I think it's
Saturday.
6 episodes, if I'm not
Yeah, I
mistaken.
watched them all on set because they put out 3 and then they put out the
Three.
other ones on Thursday or Wednesday or something. Anyway, I watched all of them and there was nothing new that was told to us. There was nothing new that we hadn't already seen sprinkled. There was nothing new that they said. And so, how they got $100 million, I will never know. There was nothing unique about the production value. I quite didn't understand it. The only thing that I felt a little something in me about was the way they said that they connected. The wedding, of course, was magical, and all of
Mhm.
that girly stuff was great. But I didn't learn anything new that I was like, oh, I did not know that. Oh, they've made a real staple in the community, or they've done this wonderful, great thing. It was fluffy.
Well, I'll tell you what wasn't fluffy is the surprise hit of Netflix, and that is
What?
Wednesday, created by
Oh,
Tim Burton. And
yeah,
I feel
from the
like doing
Adams.
the TikTok dance now. I feel like doing that TikTok dance that they're doing now that's been recreated that's so viral from the series.
Oh
Wednesday has
no.
been an absolutely huge hit. It's bordering on Stranger Things numbers as far as the numbers that it's doing. It has absolutely been a colossal hit for Netflix, something that has come out of left field, a big surprise. I'm sure they thought good things for it, but I didn't think they were thinking that it would be this big of a hit for Netflix. Don, did I lose you? You still there, Don? Oh, it looks like I've lost Dawn for the moment. Hopefully, she can reconnect with us back here in a sec. There you go. Yep. Unfortunately, I hopefully will get her back ASAP. Once again, it's the Pop Culture Cosmos. Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here. We're talking the best for television in 2022. And, you got to include Wednesday. It's been so popular. It's been something that a lot of people are talking about, something that a lot of people are interested in, really getting I guess rave. I was going to say grave with Wednesday. Maybe you should with the Adams family and all that. But rave reviews so far in 2022. So definitely looking forward to seeing more. What's coming up? I know that obviously that's going to lead to a second season and more for Wednesday. So I'm excited and happy for that. Still hoping for Dawn Fobbs to come back so she can relay to us her best of television for 2022. Hopefully, we can go ahead and relay that here. So I appreciate everyone's patience. Thanks so much for watching and listening. It is the Pop Culture Cosmos. Cyril Glasser coming right back at you here. Thanks so much again for watching and listening. Truly appreciated. When it comes to some of the television in 2022, I know there's been a lot of good stuff out there. Again, we mentioned that Snowfall is going to be ending its run after 6 seasons, and that's going to be coming up on FX here pretty soon. Atlanta, another great show on FX. Of course, Donald Glover, we talked about that. That's something that after 4 seasons finally has met its end, but that's, I think, more on the creative side. I think it's just so much good content there when it considers one of the best shows critically year in, year out, and season out for Donald Glover, and he should be commended on such a great series. So, looking forward to seeing what he has on the plate. I know he's been in talks with Sony about possibly doing more in the Spider Verse. So, I'm hopefully we'll hear more on that in the coming weeks and months. So, hopefully, we can go ahead and see more of Donald Glover in the Spider Verse there. But hopefully we can see Dawn here in a second. Hopefully, I'm asking her now if she can go ahead and come back up with us. Maybe lost battery, or as far as battery charged out, or something of that nature. So I do apologize for any inconvenience on that. Appreciate you watching and listening. But once again, it's the Pop Culture Cosmos. Dawn, you're still there. Still there? That's what I'm messaging her now. So, all right, looking forward to having her back on. One of those things that happens every now and then. I guess maybe sometimes the battery on the phone or battery on the laptop. I've had that happen before where that kind of goes out on you. So I will mention, though, that some of the big news, again, is, of course, when it comes to the DCU, Peter Safran and James Gunn, the new head of the DC universe going forward with Warner Brothers. They've talked about what they've said. Their decision is going with a younger Superman, and also maybe leaning away from the current direction that Wonder Woman is in. Whether or not that Gal Gadot stays as Wonder Woman is yet to be determined. I know that there's also talk about cut scenes that involved Wonder Woman and also Batfleck and also as well Henry Cavill all being cut out of future movies. I think that if Flashpoint does come to fruition as far as a movie staying on the schedule, you will still have to see Batfleck in there because I believe he is in more than just a cameo. He's probably, I think, more like maybe a third of the movie. So I think you probably cannot really edit him out of it unless you really just chopped up the movie entirely. So we'll see. We know Ezra Miller's time is coming soon for The Flash. We know that's going to be happening at some point in time in the not too distant future because the fact he's had so much legal trouble. So this Flash movie, I believe, is the ending of his career as the Flash. So a lot of big changes are coming up in store for the DC universe. Again, truly appreciate everybody watching and listening. Thanks so much for your patience. Checking to see if Dawn is still trying to reach out and connect with us. Everything okay, Dawn? Hopefully, she's able to hear me through the messaging system we got as a backup. So hopefully, she can come back on and join us to share her thoughts on the best of television for 2022. Looking forward to hearing her thoughts. I know I'm looking forward to getting with the crew, aka Melinda Barkhouse Ross, and also Josh Peterson, looking to see if I can get with those two on the best and worst of pop culture here coming up in the not too distant future in an upcoming show. So I'm looking forward to upcoming shows actually coming up here in a bit. So I'm looking forward to going ahead and being able to talk with them about hearing their thoughts on what the best of pop culture, aka whether it's tabletop RPGs, television, movies, video games, whatever hits them in the world of pop culture. Music could be anything. I want to glad to hear them go ahead and share their thoughts on what could be the best in pop culture for 2022. Again, I'm still trying to reach out to Dawn. I'm sorry that I lost her. I feel bad that she was not able to reconnect. So hopefully she'll be able to actually be able to reconnect with us. But she's not answering my DMs as of yet. So I want to keep it on the air until I get something more definitive, maybe. But we'll see. I may just close out here in a minute and just see where we can go from there. But once again, it's the Pop Culture Cosmos. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Truly appreciate it. Looking forward to sharing my thoughts in upcoming episodes on the best and worst of pop culture. Also, upcoming, I just wanted to mention to everybody, if you haven't seen it yet, there's a upcoming episode featuring myself and John Orlando on the best of pro wrestling for 2022, where we go into best wrestler, where we go into worst wrestlers, we go into the best tag teams, best women wrestlers, best matches, best wrestling media, and more. That's upcoming as well. Great episode that I did get a chance to record with John Orlando from the PVDcast.com. And that is coming up here in the not too distant future for a lot of audio listeners out there. So definitely looking forward to it. Again, Dawn has not responded to me. So if she does not respond the next minute or two, I'm probably going to go ahead and shut it down. Coming up right now, though, I will probably go ahead before we head out and hit you up on some of the news. Again, the biggest news of the day that I've been able to see is the fact that Dwayne Johnson, aka Black Adam, has announced that unfortunately he, as of now, is going to be not a part of the first chapter of the DC universe, and at most will probably be a later addition down the line. But he's not been confirmed if that's going to happen. So we'll see what happens there. 1923. Just wanted to let you know that the 1923 has been a big hit. Once again, over 7 million viewers across the Paramount streaming networks and Paramount cable networks, which is a big hit for them. Obviously, following in the footsteps of Yellowstone. So, definitely looking forward to seeing more of this as far as the star studded 1923, because you've got Harrison Ford, you got Helen Mirren, Robert Patrick, some real big names there, Timothy Dalton. So yeah, absolutely looking forward to seeing what this series can do as far as to continue the Yellowstone brand. So yeah, absolutely some good stuff there. But if you have any questions for us, always it is popculturecosmos at yahoo.com, or you can just hit us up, popculturecosmos, on any social media that you find us out there, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, whether it's Facebook, or whatever it is, Twitter even as well. Please go ahead and hit us up, follow us, like us, do whatever you can. But yes, just some good stuff right there for you at the Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends of pop culture on Facebook, right there for you at Pop Culture Cosmos. But yes, the big news of the day is Dwayne Johnson is no longer going to be part of the DC's new first chapter. He may come back as Black Adam, but we'll see. But yes, it is the Pop Culture Cosmos, and I think I'm going to go ahead and shut down this stream because it looks like Dawn Fobbs from the Mother Daughter Ish podcast is not going to be able to come back. We hopefully we can continue the stream at a later time and a later date, or maybe even later today. We'll see. But once again, thanks so much for watching and listening, for sticking out with me. It's Gerald Glassford coming to you right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Happy holidays and best wishes to you from all of us right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos.